Hello everybody, my name is Tommy. I am a papier-mâché artist, and in this video I'm going to show you how to build Grovyle from Pokemon Mystery Dungeon.
Welcome to Tommy's Puppet Lab. Enjoy the show.
So I'm going to start by making the head, so I'm going to crumple newspaper into an egg. Alright, so here's the head. So I'm going to make the bottom jaw. So we're just going to crumple newspaper so it takes the shape of the bottom here. Yeah, this will work. Alright, so this is the head right here. And that's the bottom jaw. To make the body, I'm going to save some time on newspaper. I'm actually going to use a balloon. There you go. This is going to be the body, because this is the kind of shape his body has. We're going to cover this in newspaper, and then we're going to put papier-mâché on it. The reason why we covered it in newspaper first, well, in case this balloon pops, well, then you won't have such a mess everywhere. So that's why I'm going to put newspaper over it. And there you go. Here's the balloon all wrapped up. So now I'm going to cover it in papier-mâché. So as soon as you have it all blown up and wrapped up, you should cover it in papier-mâché right away. Because the balloon will leak. Because the balloon has very, very tiny pores where the air will escape. And that's why balloons shrink over time. So we're going to get this thing covered up so that when it does start to shrink, it won't matter.
Okay, so this is what the body should look like. It should look like an egg. However, Grovyle is not this chubby, so we need to modify this body. We need to cut a line right across from the top to bottom. Just don't forget to cut away from yourself when you're dealing with knives. They're very sharp. Never cut towards yourself. Okay, so now open it up and remove the balloon from the inside if there is one. Okay, so now what you are going to do is you are going to tuck the egg inside to make Grovyle's body skinnier. And this is what you should have so far. That's all you have to do to make the egg skinnier. And this is what the body should look like. So this looks perfect. So I'm going to tape it shut so that it does not lose its shape, and we're going to start working on the legs. Alright, so just one more thing we need to do. We need to trim the bottom just a little bit, and don't forget to make a hole at the top so that we can put the spindle in. Okay, so now we're going to make the legs. So to make the legs, all you need to do is crumple newspaper into 2 large triangles. And here are the legs. This is what you should have right now. So let's go ahead and glue these legs on. So anytime you are using a glue gun, make sure you are wearing gloves so you don't burn yourself. And just remember to never touch the tip of the glue gun. You will get burnt. It's very hot. So now you're going to take the body and you're going to glue the legs on. Make sure the legs are leaning forward just slightly, because that's how Grovyle stands. Now you should have something that looks like this.
Now, the next thing we need to do is we need to make the arms. We're going to crumple newspaper into large carrots. We're going to need 4 of them. So that's 1 arm. We're going to need 3 more of these. We'll have 4 in total. Okay, then you should have 4 of these. These are going to be the arms. Now we need to give them some claws. We're going to take 2 of these. We're going to set these aside for now. And we're going to make them some claws. So we're going to need to make ourselves 2. We're going to crumple newspaper into the shape of a letter V. And we're going to need 2 of them. There, like that. Curved. And we're going to attach them together. And there's one claw. We're going to attach it to one of the arms right here. And there you go. That is one arm right there. So we're going to do the exact same thing to the other arm right here. I'm going to put this down. You can use this as a back scratcher. Haha. But yeah, I'm going to set this down. Yeah, it's kind of cool though. Kind of like an artifact almost, or a weapon. They are weapons actually. But anyway, we're going to make ourselves another one. Our Pokemon now has claws. This is cool. This is really cool. I'm going to scratch up the table. Scratch, 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 scratch. Okay, I'm done playing. Alright, so now let's make the feet. It's going to be fairly the same process as making these, because he's armed with claws, like I said.
Now I am going to give Grovyle an opposable thumb. I know he does not have one, but I might want him to hold something. So the claw should look something like this, kind of like a twisted claw. This way I can actually have him hold something if I want him to. So the opposable claw should look like this. Yep, that's looking pretty good. So I'm going to make myself another one. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to glue these on. Just make sure one claw is on one side and the other one is on the opposite side, so I know which hand goes where.
So we're going to make ourselves 2 large newspaper V's. So they're going to be shaped in a V, just like we did with the claws, only bigger. And that's 1 foot right there. Make ourselves 1 more. Okay, and there you go. The feet are made. Now in order for him to be balanced, we need to actually cut out some bottoms for the feet. So let's do that. Take some cardboard and we're going to trace the feet around it. We're going to cut that out. Always be careful with scissors. They're very sharp and pointy, and the same thing goes for razor blades. They are also very sharp. So whenever you are cutting, always cut away from yourself. Always cut away from yourself, never towards yourself. That includes your fingers. Same goes for scissors. Get an adult to help you if you need it. Let's cut this out. And you should have something that looks like that. I'm going to make myself another one. Trace over it and cut it out. I made it just a little bit longer, just in case. This will allow this Pokemon to stand on his own without extra support. So what we're going to do is we're going to tape this. We're going to tape the bottom onto the foot. Now we're good. Okay, let's move on to the next step. We're going to make the bottom legs. And again, they're going to be newspaper carrots. just like that. This will be attached to the bottom of the feet. So we're going to make ourselves another one. It's going to be attached like this. He's going to be in a running stance because this Pokemon was built for speed. Alright, I'm looking forward to this puppet.
Alright, so now let's talk about the papier-mâché, the messy and sticky part. So what you need to do is you need to mix 1 part glue and 1 part water. I always use white glue. White glue does not give off fumes and it works really good. You are also going to need a large paintbrush and you will need some tissue paper. I am using toilet paper because it works really well and it's actually very cheap. So go ahead and take your paintbrush and dip it into your glue mixture, and you're going to wet the surface area first. Now take your tissue paper and cover the wet surface area. Now brush some glue on top of the tissue. And now you take some more tissue paper and you're going to cover the wet tissue paper. Just like that. Then you will brush even more glue on top. Put another layer on top and brush more glue on top. Keep doing this until you have at least 3 or 4 layers. The more layers you have, the smoother the puppet will be.
Okay, so here is Grovyle's head. So there's a couple things we need to do. We need to cut a piece of this off and glue it onto the bottom. This is where the lever of this puppet will be installed on this piece. So we're going to cut off. You're going to keep both pieces, but we're just going to take this and we're going to glue it to the bottom here. I use hot glue, so whenever you're using hot glue, wear gloves, please. Okay, so next thing we need to do is we need to just make a little bit of a cut. We're just going to make a little bit of a depression here. Just going to push some of that in. Push this down. Create a little bit of a pit here. So that's what you need to do. You do that, and we're going to cover this in papier-mâché, and I will show you what it looks like when it's done. I'm going to go ahead and just cover this up right now. Okay, so here's the head so far. So take the bottom jaw and turn the head upside down, and we need to cut a bit of a depression so we can make room for the tongue. Right where I drew, we're gonna cut this out. Remember to cut away from yourself when using knives. Don't throw these parts out. We'll be putting them back in. Now take out some newspaper. Now we're going to put this back in. Do the same thing here. And here's what we have so far. I'm going to reuse this newspaper and I'm going to make a tongue. So now I'm going to cover this in papier-mâché just around here and there. And the tongue. Okay, so I'm just going to add just a little bit of depth right here. to make it look more like a reptile. Or a dragon, I guess. So like that, it's got a little bit of a curve right there. Yeah, that'll look more reptile-like. Alright, so this Pokemon has a long neck. So this is the body. We're going to crumble newspaper on the top of this egg to make the neck. Okay, so here are the arms so far. So what we need to do is we actually need to make the ends pointier. And we're going to put some papier-mâché on this side. Do the same thing to the other arm. And there you go. You should have something that looks like that. So they should be pointy, kind of like spears. Alright, so I'm going to set that aside to dry. Now we're going to take this tongue here, and we need to cut a line in the middle to make it look more like a tongue. And we're going to cut it. Just be careful when you're using knives. Now I'm also going to just make it slightly forked, because this is a reptile. I don't think he has a forked tongue, but want him to look dragon-like. So I'm going to do that. Now we're just going to cover that in papier-mâché. And now we need to give him some eyes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw them on a sheet of cardboard, and we're going to cut them out, and we'll detail the eyes. So this is what the eye looks like. So I'm going to make myself another one. Then what I'm going to do is I am going to detail the eyes. I'm going to give them a little more depth. We're just going to put some glue on it, and then we're going to scrunch some tissue paper on it, just so that it's not so flat. And there, see that now it's not so flat anymore. Going to do the same thing to the other one. Okay, now this Pokemon needs to breathe. So we need to cut some nostrils. Like that. So we're going to cut those out. And there you go. So I'm gonna cover it with papier-mâché just so that we can paint over it. Okay, so we're going to make the spindle for the head. So we're going to need a sheet of cardboard, and we're going to roll it. And just like that, you should have something that looks like this. Okay, and then we're going to glue it. So I'm going to use some hot glue, so just remember your gloves. Don't get burned. Okay, so then once this glue dries, I'm going to cover it all in papier-mâché so that it keeps its shape. Alright, so now comes the fun part. We are ready to put them all together. So we're going to start by attaching his mighty feet. So we'll need the feet, and we'll need these. So yeah, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut an opening at the bottoms here so we can glue these on. I'm wearing gloves because I will be using hot glue. So that looks about right. You want to have it bent over. Notice it's bent over. Yeah. I'm going to paper mache that. I want to hide the hot glue. So we're going to do the same thing with this other foot here. Alright, so here we have the legs attached. So let's attach the feet. So what we need to do, we need to cut some holes in the feet so that we can slide these in. So right in the center. Make sure that he's standing in the position that you want. He's going to be kind of a tall guy, but he is kind of a big Pokemon. When you're happy with it, let's glue it. Alright, so this is what you should have once the arms are pointy. So notice it's not round anymore. So the ends are nice and flat. Same thing for these arms. That's what you want. Flat on both ends. Now I have the legs attached. We're going to attach the arms. So now you're going to make a hole on each end at the top of the body, just right below the neck. And we're going to attach them with chain. When you're cutting chain, wear safety glasses, always. So I'm going to be using lengths of 2. So put some glue in the hole and we're going to slide one link inside. We're going to be making a hole. Take one arm here and we're going to be making a hole right here. We're going to put some glue inside. Then we're going to attach it to the other link. Okay, so now we're going to attach the actual hand. So we're going to make a hole just right on the top here, just where it's nice and flat. And we're going to make another hole here. Make sure the thumb is facing forward. Yeah, and put some glue in the hole. And there you go. You now have one arm attached. So we're going to do the exact same thing to the other side. And this Pokemon will have his arms. So let's get to it. Looking pretty cool. Pretty awesome. So yeah, got them attached properly, so let's move on to the eyes. We need to attach the eyes to the head, and the eyes will be attached at the center of the head, like this. And we're going to do the same thing to the other side. So it's going to look a lot better if we cover the corners with paper mache. So we're going to make some eyelids. We're just going to do that with toilet paper or tissue paper, whatever you're using. So like that. You can't really see it on camera, but it's there. Can you see that? So these are the eyelids. They're going to be painted green, but this will be painted yellow. Just to make it look a little more realistic. So I'm going to do the exact same thing to the other eye as soon as this dries. Alright, so now we need to cut him some leaves. This is our next step. So he's got 2 leaves growing for a tail. So we'll need 2 of these. I'm going to cut it out, trace over it, and make another one. Nice. Very nice. This is not good cardboard, it's just really flimsy. So I'm going to cover it up with at least 3 layers of papier-mâché on both sides. So I'm going to do that right now. Alright, so now the hand needs some leaves growing out of it. So that's what we're going to do next. So we're going to cut out 6 leaves. We're going to cut out 6 leaves. And here are the leaves. These will be glued on in bunches of 3s. Like that. Right onto here. So let's cover them in papier-mâché right now. So now we've got the leaves done. So these are the tail leaves right here. And the leaves that go onto the hands. So let's attach the tail leaves right now. The tail leaves will also give him a little bit of extra support so he doesn't fall over. So that looks about good right there. I'm just going to bend it just a little bit. So I'm going to put some hot glue on it. And I'm going to put some papier-mâché over it. Okay, so let's get these leaves attached to the hands. So we're going to take 3 leaves, put 2 like this, and then 1 on top, like that. So I'm going to glue this leaf onto these 2. And like that. Do the same thing with the other 3. And there you go. They get glued on to the hands like this. Okay, so here we have the tongue, and here's the bottom jaw. Should fit in nice and snug. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue it into place and cover it in papier-mâché. Here he is so far. Looking pretty awesome. So now let's attach the head on the top here. So to attach the head, we're going to need to cut a hole right in the center here. Alright, so we got the hole cut open. You should be able to just slide it in. So now we just need to attach this, the bottom jaw. Then we need to add a leaf on this head. Alright, so to attach the bottom jaw to the top, we will need a paint mixing stick. So you can get these at any paint department absolutely free. If you can't find these, a popsicle stick will work, or even a dowel. So what we need to do is we need to cut an opening right here. Right on the front and on the back. Alright, so we're going to cut this out. It should be just big enough to slide this in. I'm going to pull out as much newspaper as I can. We want this to be completely hollow. Okay, so we got the inside hollowed out. Got a bit of a mess. I'm just gonna. One of my favorite things to do is just to knock everything onto the floor. Don't do that. Anyway, so now what we need to do, we need to make sure this will fit. Yeah. So we need to cut an opening at the back. Okay, so it's not going to be open this wide. We're actually going to close it off, most of it off. We're just going to have a little bit of room here, but the reason why I cut it open is just so that we can align it properly and know where to place the opening. So just experimenting a little bit. Okay, so to attach the paint stick, we're going to cut an opening at the back here. Just right below the tongue. And what you're going to do is you're going to slide this in, and you're going to slide it into the opening that you cut. Not this part here, but down here. Like that, and we're going to glue it. Okay, so let's try it. Very nice, very good. So now that I'm happy with it, I'm going to take some hot glue and I'm going to seal it on. Basically, you just push down on the lever and this Pokemon will talk. So I'm going to glue this back on. Right there. Now you don't want to have this too long, so you want to trim this. So I trimmed this down, and that way the lever only sticks out just a little ways. Let's add the final touch, the leaf on the head. I believe it's a grass. I actually think it's a grass blade, but technically they're leaves too. So we're going to take a long sheet of cardboard and we're going to draw a big blade of grass. So start narrow, go wider, and at the end go narrow again. So I'm going to show you. This is what you want to draw, and we're going to cut it out. Alright, we're going to take the leaf blade, we're going to glue it right in the center of the head. I just cut an opening at the top here, right in the center, and I slid the pointy end right inside, and I glued it. So now I'm going to cover it in paper mache. So I'm using these blocks to keep the blade held up. So I'm going to cover it in paper mache, and this leaf should be able to support itself. Alright, let's paint Grovyle. We are definitely going to need some green. We're also going to need some light green and some darker green. So the light green for the main body and darker green for the leaves. And for the eyes we will need yellow. And for the belly I'm going to mix a little bit of red and a little bit of pink for the belly. And for the eyes, we are going to need some black. And just this tiny little dot of white for the eye sparkle. These are the colors we will need. So we'll need some light green and dark green. So these are the two green colors that I will be using. A darker green for the leaves and a light green for the body. Let's paint Grovyle. Alright, and there he is with the rest of his team. Okay, so what I did is I glued a piece of cardboard at the back of the lever so that this does not slide out. It will stay in and will always be in optimal position so that you can use this puppet. All you need to do is push down on this lever here and he will talk. And just like that, you now have a handsome Grovyle, a beautiful green puppet. Well, I hope you enjoyed that video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all next time. Bye bye.